Hey, Dr. Matt here. So considering the current vaccine campaign that has, put out something like 7.35 billion doses in humans' bodies, I think it is more than reasonable to consider, easily adjustable health routines, health parameters to make sure we're getting the most out of that particular thing that is going to the majority of humans on the planet, right? If people are receiving, say, these shots, these things, we want to make sure they have the best possible outcome and they get all the results they're hoping to get from that, right? Because there can be simple things that, if adjusted, can garner much, much better results. We already know that obesity, that diabetes, that a general state of metabolic unrest, derangement, makes the creation of a robust immune memory poor. It's not very good. And the overall effectiveness or vaccine-induced immune response less effective. It's not there. So this is not just for the C-related viral infections. This goes across the board. For influenza viruses and vaccines in general, that the healthier the population is, the better they will potentially work. And this is not should you, shouldn't you, anything like that. This is just a way of making sure that you're getting the most out of it. If you are someone who does get inoculated with a vaccine at any level, even including kids getting vaccines for all kinds of things. So the host, which is us, the human, really is the game changer. Whether or not that's going to be effective or there's going to be a lack of effectiveness. We're seeing that immunocompromised people getting shot after shot after shot, and still there's nothing showing up as far as memory cells or antibodies, that kind of thing. So in my own practice, I'm a massive promoter of daily lifestyle adjustments to provoke, overcoming obesity, overcoming diabetes, overcoming the host of metabolic inflammation and syndromes that's plaguing the industrialized world, and making sure that patients recognize that this is not normal. We don't have to stay in this place, and there are ways out of it. But I think it is paramount that public health and that primary care doctors, keep this understanding at the forefront when we're talking about immunity and maintaining immunity, maximizing immunity, because otherwise we're not going to be. And people aren't going to recognize that they're not, because they're not being told. It's not before them on a regular basis. So along with that, in this video, I wanted to speak to the number one micronutrient deficiency in the entire world. You may have heard it before. There's this little element called iron, and iron deficiency is that deficiency that goes around the world. And new evidence is coming out to show that a lack of iron impairs adaptive immunity and the response to vaccines. So if adaptive immunity is not good, it's not working, we're gonna be in trouble, and these vaccines aren't gonna work, because adaptive immunity is a vital force. It's the portion of our immune system that attacks and destroys pathogenic invaders, and then creates an immune remembrance for that pathogen, that virus, that vector. So when our body encounters that same pathogen in the future, guess what? We don't go into overdrive. We don't go into crazy mode. Our immune system doesn't overreact. It recognizes it and immediately shuts down its activity in our body. So in February of 2021, the European Hematology Association issued a series of statements related to basically how we can make things more effective, how viruses, vaccines may be affecting blood and stuff like that. And this expert panel, talking about vaccinating people with hematological conditions, stated that in relationship to the C-19 vaccines, that it is advisable to correct the iron deficiency before administration of the C-19 vaccines. And the reason being is that we want those vaccines to actually be effective. And if preclinical trials are showing that both low serum iron and iron deficiency decrease the availability of iron to cells and impair the immune response to vaccination and infection as well. So if we're impairing the response, our bodies are not going to get covered via those vaccinations. In one study published in the Journal of Hematology, September of 2021, showed that people receiving vaccination who had iron deficiency, anemia leading up to them being vaccinated, had a lower vaccine-induced antibody response compared to people who got vaccinated who had adequate iron levels. So this is a simple thing. Getting iron to a reasonable level, making sure it's sufficient. It's so easy to get, so cheap. Another study in Kenya suggested that the availability of iron in the blood was the limiting factor for vaccine efficacy. Is that crazy? The availability of iron is what basically made it so that there was some response or no response or benefit from the vaccine. So this is just another sign of pigeonholed medical practice. It's vital that we see patients on a holistic, individualized level and not just jump to quick fixes and population-based interventions where every single person gets this exact same thing, because it can prove less effective. An intervention that has, every intervention has some risk, some benefit to it, right? Potentially. Always some risk at anything, whether it's vitamin C, vitamin D, it could be anything. There's some risk. And so it is paramount that we make sure, if there is any potential for risk, that we are doing everything possible to make sure the potential benefit is exceeding, right? So, I think some people are getting a false sense of security even against different infectious pathogens, thinking they're going to be fine, when in reality they won't be, because they're iron deficient and they got the shot. So whether you're looking to get and maintain, say, natural immunity or a level of immunity via vaccination, getting your iron, getting your ferritin levels checked, I would put that right up here. Make sure you get it done. It's super high priority. Because as I mentioned above, it makes a big difference whether or not that adaptive immunity can set in, that you can create that memory, and it's super inexpensive. You can get it anywhere. You can get it yourself online and go into the lab and have a blood draw done. So if your levels are low, be sure to follow guidance on getting those levels up into the optimal ranges. Because it's one thing to get your levels checked. It's a whole other thing to get them up into the good ranges, right? And then if you're inclined to get vaccinated or those kind of things for whatever you're getting vaccinated for, then maybe go get your shots. All right, I'm Dr. Matt. Hope this is helpful. In the end, micronutrients, nutrition, it tends to win in the end. It tends to win. So please like, share. If you know anybody that's iron deficient, let them see this. If anybody that wants to get a vaccination, make sure they see this so they can make sure they can get the biggest effect possible if they are going that route. All right, talk to you guys later.